Well, we're dealing with a harvest.
Well, hello and welcome to Blue Garden Cottage, and today being a home week I am showing you finally how I've been pickling my gherkins, because we've had a huge amount of them.
And I'm gonna salt them overnight, and tomorrow you can see me finish them off. Right now, in the lodge, the stock pot, I have got 3 cups of vinegar, 3 cups of water, 1.5 cups of sugar, and a large teaspoon of salt. Dissolved all of the salt, sugar into the fluids, and I'm going to let them boil for a few minutes. In here I've got the jar lids, the funnel and this ladle all sterilizing in there. They're going to be boiling in there for a few minutes. In the oven I've got the jar sterilizing because they've been washed, and I've got little ramekins full of the spices, garlic and dill. I've got coriander, fennel, I've got coriander seeds, caraway seeds, I've got mustard seeds, I've got a pinch of chili, I've got a little sprig of dill, and a very small garlic clove, and that's for each jar. And I've got the gherkins that had been sliced and salted overnight and liquid poured off every now and again until it was all done, and then I poured off all the fluids. This one is when I measured out how much there is for each jar. There was just enough left not to fill a small jar, so I've made it up with some beetroot, and we're going to experiment and see how that does. It's raw beetroot, I've not cooked it. So, but when this is in the jars and the vinegar enclosed, it's going to be cooked in the oven to seal properly. So let's get those jars out of the oven. They've been sterilizing in there at 150 degrees for more than 20 minutes, so they should be fine. Okay, this one is for the excess vinegar left over to store it. There's 3 big ones and a small one. So they are sterilized. We need to let them cool off. Then I'll put the dill in the bottom first, pack in all the vegetables, and then I'll pour the spices over the top, and then pour the vinegar in. And I don't want the jars to be too cold, but I don't want the vinegar to be boiling hot because I don't want the glass cracking. I cracked one of these bottles last week. I put in the vinegar in when the bottle was too cold. The lids don't have to boil for a long time. They just need to be clean because they've got the plastic coating on the inside. So I shall take them out in a second. Leave that in there for a bit. Oh, that's boiling nicely. The whole kitchen's going to stink of vinegar. Ooh. Well, it's been boiling for a few minutes. 4 minutes to be exact. So I'm going to turn the heat down on that while I start. Nope. Not cool enough, but I can start putting the dill in. Nope, still too hot. While I'm there, I'm going to double check. I made sure that the edges, these are all reused jars, and as long as the plastic coating inside is not damaged and the paint hasn't corroded and started rusting the metal, then they should still be fine. And while I'm at it, I also check that the edge over there, that little rim, there's no dents in there, because that will prevent it from sealing properly.
It's the inside that really matters. This lid, is it this one or is it this one? This lid has an absolutely tiny little ding just there, but it's not dented the lid properly, and the seal, the plastic coating, is still in perfect condition. And I just double check all of them. Yeah, I can handle it. It's still hot, but okay, the side is still very hot. Oh my goodness. Okay, these are only just warm now, so I'm going to start packing them in, and I'm going to pack them to try and eliminate as many air gaps as possible. And I will squeeze them in to pack in as much as I can. I know that in this jar I have to be able to get all of it squeezed into the 3 jars, because I tried it before I washed and sterilized them. The jar. These will take about 2 to 3 weeks to pickle. Better left a bit longer than that. Okay, now I'm gonna put in, before I continue, the spices, and I'm gonna carry on filling as much as I can. I don't want it up above the neck of the bottle because I want everything covered in the vinegar. We go through a bottle like this in a fortnight, so I'm sure we'll have run out before the end of winter. It's different. You pour off, I've salted this separately as well, so it's got plenty of salt in there. And I love the colourful rainbow beetroot and the yellow beetroot, the candy stripe beetroot. Lovely, layering them up. Let's not forget the spices. And we will pack this in tight as well to go in the oven tray, ready for the jars to be sterilized. Yep, that's good. Alright, I don't like using the metal funnel for the vinegar, but let's have this as close as possible. I don't like just pouring it from the pot because that's a bit dangerous. Okay, so put this up to the neck of the bottle. Jiggle it around with the bamboo stick skewer in a bit to make sure I get all the air out. And I'm not too worried about, ooh, did you hear the bubbles? I'm not too worried about 1 or 2 of the gherkin pieces rising to the top, because I am going to turn, when they come out the oven, I mean they're going in the oven, and when they come out the oven they're going to go upside down for a bit anyway. I'm not putting my hands in there because that's still hot. Squeeze all the air out. And I really struggled to oh, that doesn't fit in there. Here's the other side.
This is the spoon hubby made for me a few years ago. Right, all the air is out of that one. Right. So I'm going to do a bit more. This one might do a little bit more now. Let's go very carefully, it's still hot. Nope, it's too much for that one. Oh dear. And there's too little for that jar. I don't want to waste it. Can't use it for cleaning because it's got sugar in there. Right, I'm going to get these in the oven in a moment. I am not going to move the tray into the oven with these on it. That's too dangerous. What I am going to do is put the tray in the oven and then slowly lift. And I do close them properly. And I like the ones with the buttons on the top because I'll know they're properly sealed when they suck down. Already got hot water in it. And then I'm very carefully going to put these in the oven, standing up. They're on the shelf is low enough so that the elements are nowhere near the lids. I am not. Let's make sure that is closed properly. That is what it looks like in my oven. That's what it looks like in the oven. And then we will get back to you on that. For you a few seconds, for me a few hours, because it'll be in there for at least an hour. Then I turn it off, let it cool off naturally with the door open, and then I'll come back to you when I take it out the oven in a few hours time. Right, and there they are, taken out the oven. They've been upside down for a while, so the top of the jar bit can pickle a bit more. I'll turn them around and store them this way, but then every couple of weeks I'll turn them around again so that the pickling is even. There we go. And the little buttons have sucked in nicely, all of them, so every single one of them have sealed nicely. And that's using reused jars. So I hope that shows you just one way of pickling, because I've seen so many videos of different people doing pickling and they're all different recipes and methods, but the general method is the same. Half and half on vinegar, with or without sugar, and a little bit of salt. You have to salt the gherkins overnight before they get pickled to extract as much fluid as possible, and then they'll absorb more of the pickling vinegar and be crunchier. I always cut the tops and bottoms off, just a little slither on the top or the bottom of the gherkin, then prick it full of holes on the skin, then slice, quarter, whatever, and then salt and layer it and tip off the fluid a couple of times while it's salting and dehydrating effectively, and then I do all the vinegar stuff. So it is a complicated process, but it's simple when you get used to it, and it's just the amount of time it takes. So that's us, one very successful crop this year that we're able to preserve and keep, and it will keep us in pickles for months through the winter, and we can remember and enjoy the crops and the harvest of the summer and be grateful for being able to do that, just because we love it, not out of any scarcity mindset of fear of being without, but just because we're grateful for the bounty and we enjoy it and we love it. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share and all those things I'm supposed to say at the end of the video. That's if you've made it to the end of the video. Thank you if you have. I appreciate you. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.